All right, guys, I'm going to go over how to create a mosaic with Google Drawing. So the directions are to carefully read and follow the detailed directions in the document labeled Mosaics with Google Drawing Directions, which is right here. Open and use the Mosaic Google Drawing template in the assignment to create your unique work of art. So that's going to be the Google Drawing here. Yours will most likely be up to the right in the assignment. Once you have followed the directions and completed the assignment, make sure you turn it in. All right, so these are the detailed directions to help you as you are completing the project. This is the Google Drawing template that you will have access to. All right, so for our project, we are going to transform a source image with colored shapes like mosaic tiles or stained glass. Here are the basic steps. Open the Google Drawing in your assignment labeled Mosaic Google Drawing Template. The background should be set to black for you. So this is what it'll look like. Yours is going to say template. I just have example for right now. Choose one of the Lighthouse images from the Lighthouse Images Google Doc to use. Copy and paste the image into the Google Drawing. This is going to be used as your reference image. So I'm going to open this document. And I have directions on how to copy and paste as needed. So I'm going to go through. There's a few different options. You can decide which one you would like to use. I'm going to choose this one. So I select it, right click, copy, go to my Google Drawing, right click, and paste. Now it doesn't fill up the whole screen. So what I'm going to do is slide it over where it fits in one corner. I'm going to I'm going to hold the shift button on my keyboard down and drag the corner until it fits the whole back. Now there's a little bit at the bottom, so what I can do is just slide it down where I've got an even amount at the top and at the bottom. All right, so I can X out of this document because I've chosen my image. Okay, next, use any of the shape tools or the polyline tool to cover your image with the desired shape style. I've put two images to show you where to locate those, but I'm also going to show you here. So, if I wanted to create a polyline, or use the polyline tool, excuse me, I'm going to click the arrow to the right and go down to polyline. That's that tool. If I wanted to create a shape that already exists, then I can go through those. Now I would stick to circles, triangles, squares, and so forth. Not any smiley faces and hearts and stuff. Let's try to keep it a little more true to a mosaic. And this is what you're aiming for, okay? So notice some of these have circles, some of them have squares, rectangles, triangles, all different types of shapes that you can use. You can use a mixture of all of them or stick to one. I would recommend trying a few of them in your design, but it's your choice. Okay, so one helpful tool is going to be the zoom tool, okay? Especially when we're working with a certain area and need to show detail, this will be especially helpful. So when you click on the magnifying glass that says zoom, you're then going to click on your picture. You can click it as many times to get as close as you need. That was 3 clicks, and that got me to about the size that I would want to start outlining. If I need to go back to the normal screen size, I would click the arrow to the side and fit, and that's going to take me to where it fits the screen, okay? All right, so I'm going to go back to zoomed in. Now, you want to make sure you use the zoom tool and you don't zoom in your whole computer screen. The reason for that is when you use the zoom tool, it will only zoom in your picture. You can still move around with the sidebar and the bar at the bottom, and as well as your mouse. If you zoom in your whole screen, you can no longer see your toolbar, and when you go to create the shapes, they are not going to be the correct size. So make sure that you are using this zoom tool only when you are zooming, and you will need to zoom in to show the detail. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to add some of these shapes. So the first one I'm going to do is with the polyline tool. I'm going to create my own. So I'm just going to All right, so created my own style. Now it's going to automatically fill in with color when I have created a full shape, and you must have a full shape to fill it with color. It's going to automatically go to this blue color. To change that, you're going to go to this bucket where it says fill color. Click on that. You can either do transparent to begin with, or you can go ahead and fill it with the color of your choice. So this is kind of a gray color, so I can look around for that. I can also go in and create a custom color. So I can move this around as I want to create a custom, and then it will fill in as so. Now, one of the directions say that we cannot have a border color. That's this dark line. So what I'm going to do is go to this border color and go to transparent. So it gets rid of that, okay? If I need to move this around, I would go back to this arrow, select. When it's blue, it means it's selected, and I can move it wherever I want to. I can also use this tool to change the angle. All right, now, the next thing, let's try using one of the pre-made shapes. So let's do a square. All right, and then let's do a circle. Okay, now I want to make sure that there is space between the shapes. And I also want to go in and change the fill color. Let's go ahead and change it to this custom one that I made. It's not the best gray, but it'll do for now. All right, and then I also need to make sure that my border color is set to transparent. Okay, so now say I want to copy and paste any shapes. So I will select them. If I want to select multiple shapes at the same time, I would hold the Shift button and click on all the shapes. Once they're all selected, I will right-click, copy, click to the side, right-click, and paste. I can move them around as a whole, or I can select separately and move them around as needed. Okay. Now, I would recommend having some sort of order in your design. So, for like looking at the example, how there's squares that they're using all here. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on this. So we've got circles, we have some rectangles, triangles. So just make sure that when you're using the shapes that they make sense, that it has that mosaic look. There should be no border. It should just be the color, and there needs to be space between, okay? Let me get that back. All right. Now, if we want to kind of see what we've done so far, we can go back to fit, and you can see where we have added those shapes, okay? Now, you want to make sure that looking back at these directions, let's see. We want to color in the shapes to match the portion of the image they are covering. You can create your own color with the custom fill color, or use one that has already exists. We also have an extension. I do not have it on my computer, but up here on your toolbar, you should have what's called the color picker tool. And so the way that works is you would hover over a section, and it's going to pick a color. It's going to give you a code. You'll go into, let's see, let me select this. You would go into the fill color and go to custom, and you would put that number here and then press OK, and it will give you that specific color. Okay. Now you're filling in the whole picture. So you're going to have the sunset, even if there's rocks like this one. So what you would do is this would actually work pretty good, because you're just going to outline each of these rocks. That's going to be your different shapes. Just make sure that you keep space between them and so forth. You are not going to outline full areas. So like we wouldn't do one big square here. You would need to do multiple squares or multiple circles, whatever you decide, and so forth. Same thing with up here. The zooming, you need to zoom in at least 2 to 3 times to get close enough to fill in those details correctly. So let's see. All right. When you are done, like completely finished, you have your whole image completed. So it would look like one of these. You're going to go into the picture. You will select it. Let me go back to normal size. You would select this picture and you would delete it. And it's going to leave only the shapes that create the mosaic as we see, okay? But you do not want to delete that until you have everything drawn out with the shapes creating that beautiful mosaic. All right, let's see if there's any other tips. Okay, criteria. There should be a tiny amount of space between all of your shapes. No shapes should be touching or overlapping. There should also be no outline. So that's what we went over is the border color. So when we create a shape, you're going to automatically have a border that's black. So you're going to want to go to the border and go to transparent and then fill in as needed, okay? We want to keep our sizes small. So this one would be too big. I would need to make that a little bit smaller. All right. You must have small shapes in all areas representing the colors and tones of that area. Do not use big shapes to fill in the background or other large areas, small shapes only. We went over that. If something is white, put like a light gray or even a color close to white. Do not leave it blank. So don't make it just transparent. We want to make sure that there's actual squares filled in with color because we will eventually, like I mentioned, be deleting the background image. That is just a reference to create your mosaic. So hopefully that answers any questions you may have. If you need any help, please let me know, and just be sure to read through the directions carefully, follow them carefully, and enjoy yourself in the process.